So let's talk about audio, specifically the audio for your webinars, because if somebody is having a hard time hearing you or understanding you, then you're going to have a hard time keeping their attention and converting those leads into sales. Now, I'm going to give you 3 ways on how to improve the audio for your webinars, and it's going to range from little to no budget all the way to some money to invest in your webinar production skills. And let's just jump into it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Isaiah from Cleverly Titled Creative. Today we're talking about audio, specifically for webinars, how to improve it so people can understand it, so people can hear it clearly, concisely, or even just how to improve it from the typical webinar quality audio. I said I was going to give you 3 ways, and they're each going to range different budget levels depending on what your investment looks like into your webinars. Somebody on the higher end might be hosting several webinars a month. Someone on the lower end might have a webinar here and there, but still wants to have a very professional and cleaned up webinar experience. So let's just jump into it. So the first tier is obviously going to be people who have very little to no budget to invest in their webinar outfit, in their webinar production, which is okay. There are still like a handful of things that you can do for absolutely no cost, and then like very little investment just to improve your webinar audio quality. Like I said before, why do we care about this? Well, it's important for people to be able to hear you and to understand what you're saying so that you can keep their attention, because it's hard to pay attention to anything that you can't understand, right? So of those things that you can do, the first thing that I would say would be conscious of the room that you're in. Make sure that it's a quiet room, not heavily trafficked by other people, not heavily trafficked by animals, not heavily trafficked by anything that might create sound. Are you next to a live construction site? Maybe move to a different place. The other thing is to make sure that you choose a room that's relatively outfitted with furniture, with art, with other things, just things occupying the space, because sound travels very well, and in an empty room it's going to bounce off of all of the walls that you have there, and it's going to create a distracting echo. It might create a weird natural reverb that would feed back into the microphone, and it's just going to make the audio quality sound fairly cheap. So if you can pick a room that's relatively quiet, not heavily trafficked, and a room that's outfitted with some furniture and art and other blankets and whatnot, then you're going to already be heads and tails above other competition. If you do have a little bit of money in order to invest in your audio equipment, I would say, and some people already have these, if you already have an iPhone or any kind of phone that has a headphone jack in it, they usually come with a pair of headphones that have an inline microphone. So if you don't have that, then it's, I think, like 20 to 30 bucks to buy something like that. You can buy a knockoff off-brand of those. I don't know how good the sound quality would be for that, but I would assume it would be 10 bucks or less for an off-brand. But those inline microphones are really good at picking up your voice in an oversimplistic way. The closer the microphone is to the source of audio, the better it's going to pick up that source of audio, the more high quality it's going to sound. So having a pair of earbuds or headphones, Apple earbuds, Apple headphones, or even AirPods, something like with an inline microphone that can pick up your voice and put the mic closer to your mouth, is going to be the best bet for making sure that your audio is clean and received clearly through your webinars. All right, so the next tier is people who have officially decided that they are going to invest some money into their webinar setup, and they agree that they need to purchase something to increase the quality of their audio that they're tracking for their webinars, either so that they can capture the audio on a separate recording and release it later for a on-demand version of their webinar, or if they just want to have a more reliable source to capture their voice and capture their presentation, both of which I cannot emphasize enough their importance. But so if you have a little bit of money, there are microphones that you can plug directly into your computer with a 3.5mm jack, just like a headphone jack. Or you can utilize a headset that also has an attached microphone. Both of those are going to create a high quality source of audio. They're going to be able to be placed closer to your mouth, closer to the source of your audio, your presentation, and they're going to be able to capture it better. I also know that Blue, the microphone company, and a handful of other microphone companies create USB style microphones or USB input microphones. So plug one end of the cable into your microphone that you've purchased and the other end into a USB port on your laptop, on your desktop computer. So these USB microphones don't usually come with any kind of built-in EQ or compression, which is something that you would have to do through post-processing or if you had a more complex microphone setup. But they are going to provide you with a better diaphragm microphone, meaning that it's going to be able to pick up more frequencies and be able to receive better frequencies and clearer audio from your voice and your presentation. So the last group of people are people who host plenty of webinars. Maybe they give a lot of online presentations, multiple webinars a month. They know that they need to have a high quality webinar experience. They know that they need to be above or beyond the competition. What I use for my own personal setup is this basic M Audio M-Track Plus. This one is a little bit old because I bought it years ago when I was first getting started trying to build my own studio, track my own stuff. In my bedroom, this is a great little 2-input interface that inputs into your computer via USB. You just go into your sound settings and choose that as your microphone instead of your in-computer microphone. Then you can plug whatever mic you want into this interface and it will provide phantom power, it'll provide, you can record in stereo if you want to, and then you can have some monitoring down here. So you can have monitoring headphones just to regulate how loud your mic is and what you sound like in proximity to it. So this is a great little piece of technology in order to help improve your audio experience for your webinars. This specifically, I believe, was like $150 when I first bought it, which was brand new. You can find them used, I'm sure, for under that amount now. But yes, a good 2-input interface all the way up. They make about 18 input interfaces also. You can have a full-scale production if you wanted to. Just remember that if you have a mic for each person that's going to speak in the room, or if you have a mic for yourself, that you need to make sure to monitor those levels, and you need an input for each person that's going to be in the room. So there you have it, 3 ways in order to improve the audio experience, all the way from no budget to having a dedicated amount of money that you want to spend on your webinar experience. So a few bonus tips before we sign off really quick. Make sure, first off, that you're always using good microphone technique. My rule of thumb is pretend that the microphone is a flashlight and you're trying to shine as much light onto your teeth as you possibly can. That's going to ensure that your mic placement is correct and that you're also within the correct distance from your mouth so that you're not clipping all of your audio, you don't sound super distorted, and so that you're not so far away that people can't actually hear you. So pretend that your microphone is a flashlight. Try to shine as much light onto your teeth as you possibly can. Rule of thumb for distance away from the microphone is if you hold this up, you're about that far away from the microphone. It's a good distance. And the last bonus tip is going to be make sure that you wear your headphones, because if your microphone is catching any feedback coming off of your computer speakers or someone else talking, it's going to cause a feedback loop, which is just going to echo. It's going to sound terrible. It's going to create that really high-pitched whining sound that everybody dislikes hearing and is very grating to hear. So make sure you are wearing headphones. That's going to do it for us here today at Cleverly Titled Creative. Go out, keep making your art, keep making your videos, and we will see you in the next one.